Let's take a look at some of the reading aspects of the Read and Write for Google program. Let's say you are doing a current events article and you want your students to choose one that is of interest to them. I'm going to go with the science behind our search for Waldo. So as you can see, you don't see any toolbar for Read and Write for Google, but the little Read and Write icon is right up there for when I'm ready for it. The first thing I want to do is choose my reading level. I'm going to go with the 680 Lexile. I'm going to open Read and Write for Google by just clicking on the icon. And sometimes it takes a minute to pop up. There it is. Okay, so I can go ahead and use hover speech and have them start to read.
The science behind our search for Waldo.
But you can see that as I move my cursor, it will move around. So that's not always the best way to go. I'm going to take off hover speech. What happens if I just put my cursor here and press play?
Grade K4. Grade 5-6.
So you can see that it's starting to read
Grade
everything on the page,
7-8.
which is not super helpful. One of the things that might be helpful, especially if all of this on the side is distracting, is to use this feature. It's called Simplify Page. So I click on it and you can see that it's opened a new tab. And here's just the text for that article. And now, maybe I want to use the masking button. That's this one here. Gives me a line so that the student can highlight where they want to read. If we are having it read to us, we can press play.
The science behind our search for Waldo. There's more to the question where's Waldo than you might think. The first book in the Waldo franchise was published 30 years ago. It was published in Britain. He's no...
So you can see that you can use lots of different features, just like in some of the other areas we've looked at. There's the dictionaries, there's the highlighting tools, there's translator, and so on. Another thing that you might want to explore is practice reading aloud, which is this last button there. Again, it's going to open up a new window, and here's the text that I want the students to read aloud. I can still turn on my mask. My students can press the record button when they're ready. If the instructions are right here, ready to practice reading, click the record button to get started, click stop when you're finished, use the play button to listen to how you did, re-record as much as you want, and click the send button to share your awesomeness with your teacher. So I can press start recording. The science behind our search for Waldo. There's more to the question, where's Waldo, than you might think. The first book in the Waldo franchise was published 30 years ago. It was published in Britain. He's known there as Wally and not Waldo. The sneaky character has become quite the globetrotter. This has been true since 1987. And now I can listen to it. The science behind our search for Waldo. There's more to the question, where's Waldo, than you might think. The first book in the Waldo franchise was published 30 years ago. Pretty sure it slowed down my speech and I'm sounding a little warped, but we'll go with it anyway. And then I want to send it to my teacher. It says, we're just trying to find a list of teachers. Please wait. And I'm going to choose this one because that's mine. It wants to do all of these things. Press allow. Who should we send it to? And I might put, I can't see my teacher here. Let me enter their details. Or I might want to send it to the librarian to let her know that I'm reading this book.